Hey everybody, welcome to the Player's Take, episode 54. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, a man getting killed by hackers, Montrell Rice.
Hey, what's up everybody?
For those of you who haven't listened before, the Player's Take is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. Let's get started like we always do with what we've been playing. Montrell, have you been playing anything other than Kingdom Hearts 3?
No, I haven't. Probably a little bit of PUBG with you guys, but
What a degenerate.
Yeah, that's all I've been playing with.
I've mostly been playing PUBG and DBZ Kakarot. I'm going to punt Kakarot again one more week. I know I've been saying this for like 3 weeks. I'm going to punt my opinions on this game, but I'm getting close to the end now. I'm in the Boo Saga, so I should hopefully have it done by next week's show. PUBG, I don't really want to dive too deep into it, but we have had a frustrating week, I think. It's fair to say.
Yeah.
I think Bluehole's decision. So, we talked about last week, I think, or the week before, that they released a new map called Karakin, which is like a 2x2. And we were really digging that map a lot, but we have since gone into a brave new world where Bluehole decided to remove Karakin from its own queue and put it in with the other 3 maps, and now it's just a 4-map queue. And we have, I think in the last 7 days, we have played Karakin once, I think, legitimately. Like, I don't even think I'm joking about that amount of time. Like, it's been a really weird thing. It's like super jarring, because you'd think all the maps have a 25% chance of being chosen, but they don't. So, or it doesn't appear to be, because we've probably played 50 games, I'd say.
Yeah, over the course of
a week.
Yeah.
And we've played Karakin once. That's a 2% hit rate on that map.
Yeah,
that's fucking ridiculous.
I think they went too overboard with it. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. Like, you can't even Sandhawk, we got that 4 times yesterday, but that was like out of 50 games. Like,
that was like the first time we only got it like once or twice the other 2 sessions.
Yeah,
and it was like, so we were playing Erangel and Miramar like 75% of our games probably. Yeah. And I'm pissed. I'm super annoyed at PUBG. I don't want to play it right now. I'm done with it.
Yeah, we definitely took a break from it. I was really pissed at it the other day.
Because we kind of forced it on ourselves, I think, on Sunday, and we didn't do very well, and it was just a bad night in general, and we didn't get Karakin at all, and we got a few Sandhawk games, but I don't understand what they're doing. Like, if they are actually reducing the chances to get certain maps in the queue, I just can't. Maybe we're just unlucky. I don't know. But 1 out of 50 games, dude, 1 out of 50. That just seems completely implausible to me. So I don't know that we could just be that unlucky. It's a ridiculous. It's kind of a ridiculous situation with that game. So I think I'm planning on taking a break for a few days. I was thinking about playing it tomorrow, but I'm just not in the mood right now. Like, I don't want to deal with it. Like, because we keep running into hackers now. Like, every single game, almost, it feels like we're running into hackers, and it's getting out of control. The further away we get from the patch release, it just seems like the worse it gets. And these people aren't even hiding it anymore. Like, they're so blatant about it that it's really hard to feel like anything's going to be done about it, because nothing seems to be done. We report these people every time we play, and none of them get banned. We never get reports back anymore that they're getting banned. Like, it hasn't happened in weeks.
Yeah, I did some more research on that, like, while we were offline and everything of that nature. And I did watch a couple of videos from like popular YouTubers that are like popular in the PUBG community, but not like really big outside of that. But yeah, it was one guy who he followed one person all the way from season 1. The guy was getting 75% headshots. Yeah. And this guy's getting like maybe 20 kills a game. Mm-hmm. Like, not even Shroud has that kind of like fucking percentage.
No human has that kind of headshot hitting ability.
And this is like over 500 games per season. So he just got suspended this season. Like, he just got banned, but it was only a 24-hour ban.
What are they doing, man? They're going to ruin this game. Like, this game has gotten fun, and I really enjoy playing it, but when we run into hackers, it is the most. It's like put pop in the air out of the balloon. Well,
one thing we do need to do. Well, both sides on our side, I think we need to start dropping a little bit more hotter,
Yeah.
especially on those big.
Which I agree with you.
Yeah, which on those big maps, because I mean we work and stuff. I don't have time to run 30 minutes around trying to play safe and shit like that. Like I can play safe when we're in the heat of battle, but besides that, and then another thing on their side, they need to do a good job at balancing the loot. I don't want loot in every house, but I shouldn't go how you had to go 6 to 7 houses without fucking finding loot. And if I do drop hop in a town, I like your suggestion, right? If you drop hot in a town, the town has better loot than the buildings outside. That should be your incentive to go inside towns, drive players inside
that is
these
just
towns.
not the case right now, dude.
It's just not. It's just sporadic. And
we go to Pochinki and it's just like there's nothing in 3 houses. You don't find anything and you're screwed.
Yeah,
You're totally screwed. Like at least with Miramar, I can kind of give this map a little bit of a pass because there's some of the buildings on that map are so large that it's really easy to maneuver through them, and you will find a weapon in them. That's how big they are.
Yeah.
Erangel doesn't have this unless you go to school, and even school's a bad example, and so is hospital because you're going in and out of a bunch of little rooms. It's not a giant open warehouse.
It seemed like they nerfed a lot of these places,
dude. And yeah, it sucks because when you go into a building and you come out with nothing, you're just a sitting duck, and you feel stuck. You feel trapped because people are going to see you and they're going to kill you. And I'm at the point where I like Miramar better than Erangel. I don't like Erangel, and we were getting it the most, and I'm sick of it.
I agree, which is funny because I hated Miramar.
I know you hate that map so much, but dude, it's
Erangel is just so bad right now.
I can't stand that map, dude.
Yeah, it's not even funny.
It's like they listened to the Reddit and just did what they said and just took all the loot away, and they made it.
Because you remember a couple weeks ago, Reddit was complaining about this exact thing.
Yeah,
they wanted Miramar and Erangel back, and they wanted to like debuff or nerf Kerrigan, and that's what happened. Like people don't, and then now it's the opposite effect. Like the casual players are leaving because Kerrigan's just not in the rotation anymore.
You can't even play it, bro. It's so,
and I consider ourselves casual players.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just want to put the game up for another month. Like at this point, you're already asking for season 7. You're like, man, is season 7 coming?
Yeah,
like,
straighten the shit out because it's just stupid, man. I don't know, whatever. I digress, I guess, about PUBG.
Yeah, let's just move on.
It is what it is, man. I hope they fix it because I do like the game. I'm having fun when we play.
Yeah,
and we're getting better too. That's the annoying part, But we can't have a fun experience because of all this shit we're talking about. They can't get it. Like the game won't get out of our way. It's like it just won't. So
I'm considering trying that Escape from Tarkov because that looks like it's a little bit up our alley. Survival.
Dude, I'm at the point when Apex gets on Steam, I think I might try it.
Okay.
I'm not even kidding. I'm legitimately not. Like,
okay.
I'm serious.
All right, cool.
Because that's how annoyed with PUBG I am.
All right.
Like I'm sure Apex has hackers too, but God, it's just out of control in PUBG.
Yeah,
it's completely absurd. So, all right, let's move on to the news. I got some corrections from last week. I just want to kind of throw out there. I said a couple things that are not super true. So, so the PS5 reveal, I was under a false impression. I saw an article that turned out to not be true, saying that the PS5 reveal is going to be on the 15th of February, which is not the case. And this is actually an interesting kind of situation that has developed in the past week, where I'm sure all of you have heard of the coronavirus that has kind of gripped China, and people worldwide are starting to fear this. We've had some cases here in the United States this past week that have happened, and it's to the point where it's shut down production in China. Like they are not doing anything right now. Like they basically quarantine people because they don't want this to spread, and this could have an effect on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X to the point where it's possible these consoles could get delayed if production does not start up on them soon, which is not implausible. We'll get into that in a second, though. And it's also already impacting the Switch. The Switch is going to be having some supply constraint issues because of this lack of production happening. And it's so what this means though is that the PS5 reveal in effect has probably also been pushed back. We never knew a real concrete date, but I assume it's not happening until next month at the earliest now. And I mean, I could theoretically see this getting pushed all the way into the summer, depending on how things play out. Because there's been a rumor kind of flying around that Sony is going to wait to reveal the price of the PS5 until the Xbox Series X price has been revealed, and they want to go based off what Microsoft announces.
Yeah, these consoles may be pushed back until next year.
I mean, I think that is extremely unlikely. Like,
if this virus continues, if they don't solve this virus by the summertime, then yeah, yes. I think it's getting pushed back.
I think that's true. I think if by July 0 PS5s and 0 Xbox Series X's have been manufactured, the consoles are getting pushed. But I don't think it's going to be that bad. I mean, we'll see, I guess, how truly bad this is over the next month or two. But, dude, if they get production up in a month or 2 months or even 3 months, I think Sony and Microsoft would release the consoles even with a short supply. Like, say they could only get 40% of the units they were anticipating getting under normal circumstances. I still think they would release the consoles because the ramifications of pushing the consoles back to next year they're massive, dude. Like, every company that is making a game right now for the PS5 launch and the Xbox Series X launch would have to either A, push the game back, obviously, and that there's so much money involved in this that I just don't see a situation where Sony and Microsoft would really let that happen. Because
I just don't. I feel like there's nothing they can do.
It could torpedo this generation, though, man.
It could, but there's nothing. If this virus continues to spread like it is, and if it continues to spread across China like it's going, I honestly don't think they have no choice but to bite the bullet. They will have to push these consoles back because, in my opinion, I know this is just me, but human lives over consoles. So,
right.
And I know businesses think the other way, consoles over human lives.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think China is finally taking this seriously. I think the world is finally starting to take this virus seriously. And we're starting to see it impact our video games. Like, that's how serious it is. It's impacting different realms. Right. And it's going to spread over to other realms, like maybe car manufacturing and other electronics and things of that nature. And like I said, if it's not solved by May tops, I think they're going to push everything back.
I think they'd be fine in May. Like I said, I think they would just be supply constrained, and I think they'd be okay with that because you could potentially create like a Wii situation where people are ravenous for this console and that you can't buy one because there's none available. So,
well, that also could start a thing where the consoles are being made so fast that they start to have defects, and then the first waves that come out are defective as fuck.
I don't think they'd do it. I don't think they'd do that. I think the thing we have to keep in mind though is the longer this goes, the harder it's going to get for them to actually get these things out because whatever was in the queue for right now in China for all these factories is not being made, which means it's pushing back everything. So when they start production up again, they're going to start the things that they were working on right now, you know, and then they're going to go through whatever queue they had at that point. So from there, and so it's not a good situation. So obviously we'll be monitoring this. We'll see kind of what happens. I'm kind of disappointed because I was really looking forward to the PS5 reveal, but it feels like Sony is like they're really I feel like scared right now. That's what it feels like. This rumor that they haven't decided on the price yet is really.
It does sound like they're scared, and I'm wondering why they are so scared.
I don't
Maybe
know.
they have some details about the Xbox that we don't have. And
the rumors are that the Xbox Series X is going to be more powerful than the PS5, which means
but I don't think that's a huge deal now. I think people are more so looking at exclusivity because as of right now, the Xbox One X is more powerful than the PS4 Pro.
Right.
But the PS4 is still on top. People still go for the games because the exclusive games that PS4 has are better than the Xbox right now.
100%. Yeah, so that's why this situation is weird for me. I don't really know where Sony's coming from. Like I think they're just moving really cautious. I think they don't. Maybe they're doing the thing that I always criticize them about. They're getting big headed and they
makes mistakes. I don't think they're doing it that time. I think they're trying to move.
You think
really
it's the
slow.
opposite? They're like in their own head.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
They're like, we don't want another PS3 situation.
We don't want to screw this up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we'll see as things go forward. I still expect a reveal in the next month or two. But it really does depend on this coronavirus situation, because if the consoles do get pushed by that, then this reveal, I mean, legitimately might not happen until the summer. So we'll see, I guess, what happens there. So and the second correction I want to make is about Warcraft 3 Reforged. I did say last week that the game was always online. This is not the case. This was just one detail kind of wrapped up in a humongous list of things that I was going through. And I was able to verify that you can play this game offline. There is a way to play offline. You don't need to be online to play the campaign or custom games.
All right, cool.
You can't play on your own, but that does not excuse the laundry list of issues that we talked about last week that are still 100% true. So, but let's move into the news, which the first story is about Warcraft 3 Reforged, where this situation has gotten so bad for Blizzard that they are now offering refunds to people regardless of playtime automatically. You don't even need to talk to a support person. You can go on their website right now. You can. I don't think they actually gave instructions on how to do this, but I don't know exactly how you have to like do you put in. I don't know if you put in like technical issues as your reason for refunding.
Yeah, gotcha.
And that gives you the automatic refund, but. Plenty of people have reported at this point that they have refunded the game and it's working, and it's on Blizzard's website, like literally on a support page where it says like, if you want to, we don't usually allow refunds for games after they've been purchased and played, but you know, in this particular case, go here and you can get a refund for Warcraft 3 Reforged.
You must really
it's damage control, of course.
They must really realize what happened.
Right. I mean, this is so bad. They couldn't get away with it. I think they had to do it. I think they did it literally for legal reasons. They had no other choice. This isn't PR. This is because I think they legitimately knew that if they were taken to court for false advertising, they would lose. Because up until, I think it was Friday or Thursday, they still had the cutscenes that they advertised at BlizzCon 2018 for the culling mission, the culling of Stratholme. They still had that on Warcraft 3 Reforged website as like a selling point for the game. This was a week and a half post live of the game coming out, so they I don't think they had a choice in the matter. They clearly false advertised this game, and I mean, I'm not going to refund it. I've been going back and forth about it. I don't think I'm going to refund it, but anybody who does, I mean, there's no reason not to. Frankly, you can still play the original version of the game, hopefully, assuming that you didn't pre-order it. But it's hopefully they fix it. That's what I'm hoping for, because I did see a job posting today for Warcraft 3 Reforged. They're looking for an interface, like a senior engineer for interface design and creation. So it seems like that does indicate to me that they may be actually they're going to try to save this game and at least do certain things. They might not put the cinematics in that they promised, but the idea that they are going to work on the interface and they're hiring somebody to work on the interface hopefully means they're actually going to make the interface better the way they said. And honestly, if they do that and they fix all the bugs and they make the game work and online works and they do a few enhancements here and there, at the very least they could redeem what they've done here to a degree. As I said, I don't believe we're going to get the Reforged cutscenes, but that would be nice. But we'll see. At least they're not abandoning the game, though. That was my biggest fear last week, and even through this week, was that they were just going to leave this game. They were going to let Warcraft 3 rot, and they were going to leave it in a broken, unfinished state, and that was not okay with me. So it's good to see that they're at least hiring somebody for working on the interface. We'll see what comes of it, I guess, but it's going to take time. There's a lot of people, like the subreddit at this point is just a dumpster fire of hatred. Like, it's just so, dude, you can't even have a conversation on there. Like, if you say anything even remotely positive about Blizzard, you get downvoted into oblivion, and you get all these idiots replying to you like, "Oh my god, you're Blizzard shill, man, you're a Blizzard shill." It's like, dude, like, what do you want them to do? Okay, they fucked up. We all know they did. They screwed this up so royally that they've ruined one of the best games in their portfolio. But we're here now, and they're trying to fix it. So being mad and angry and cynical and calling them names and shit, that isn't gonna fix Warcraft 3. Like, let them fix it. At least let them try, And if they fail, then we can be critical of them at that point. But so that's kind of my feeling on it. I think the outrage around this game has definitely bubbled over into an out of control state. The YouTube community did their little pieces on it, and they made their little videos to kind of get their their views about what the current outrage in gaming is.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously we contributed to that as well. But I am a Warcraft 3 player. A lot of these people that are doing these videos, they've never even played Warcraft 3. Like, they don't care about it. And if they have played Warcraft 3, like, I don't believe that they are at the level of like fandom that many of the people on the Reddit and myself are at. Like, none of the ones I've watched have talked about it in that way. Like, they don't really know the game. They're hitting bullet points that everybody else has been hitting. They're not talking about specific things about Warcraft 3. So
yeah, in some of the videos I was watching, and they were just reading like some, like you said last week, there was another video I watched, and they were just reading straight Reddit posts, and I'm like, this isn't content. Yeah, this isn't content at all. Right. I do hope that one takeaway from this, and we were talking about this earlier off mic, is that people realize, BlizzCon 2018, this happened with Diablo, and now this is happening with Warcraft 3. I think gamers need to just, if you guys are going to be outraged over stuff, you need to speak with your wallets. Like, don't support the company. I mean, yeah, they may make Diablo 4 and it could be the best game ever, but if they see that you guys came back to that, well, I mean, if it is the best game ever, that means they put effort into it, right? So
maybe they deserve the money, but see, this is
a double-edged sword, right?
This is the conundrum, and I've been mulling this over for 2 weeks now, dude. Like, I've been going back and forth about this, and I mentioned last week, at the end of the episode, that I might be done with Blizzard, and I think I'm at the point where I'm not literally saying I'm boycotting them. I don't think that's where I am. I'm not gonna be at that point, because I'm not the kind of person who's going to rob myself of a good experience if it's worth my money and time. But I am at the point, though, because I've been a person who's bought basically every Blizzard game, regardless of my interest in it or not, up until this point. And that hasn't, that's not 100% true. Like, I didn't buy Heart of the Swarm or Legacy of the Void for StarCraft 2. I did buy Overwatch, though, and that's a game I played for like 2 weeks and never played it again. I played Hearthstone. I barely touched Heroes of the Storm, but that's a free-to-play game. And World of Warcraft I did kind of leave behind a long time ago as well. So I haven't bought everything that they've released in recent years, but I'm still somebody who is willing to buy their games on day one, even if it was something I wasn't super interested in, And that was going to be true of Diablo 4 probably, not Overwatch 2, but Diablo 4, I'm interested enough in that genre and Diablo that I was going to probably jump into it. And they've done this game so dirty and really, God, just slapped their fan base in the face so hard with this that I don't care. Like, I don't care about Diablo 4. Like, if it looks like it's a good game and a fun game, I might play it. And if maybe in the future they make a StarCraft game or a Warcraft game that looks appealing and looks fun and truly enjoyable and looks like something they really put effort into and made a good game, I might play that. But at this point, like, Blizzard to me is just, they're not a good company. They don't make good games, and I'm not a person who has the time to play bad games, and I'm not going to bother,
Exactly. I think what makes this one different is, people can say, I can understand if this is a brand new IP. Like, I can kind of give them leeway for that. Like, I know people are like, well, you guys don't really know. You guys didn't ban fucking BioWare. And it's like, Anthem was a brand new IP. They tried it. They failed. We criticized them for it and things of that nature. This is a remaster, or not a remaster, but almost a full remake / remaster. I mean,
it's in the middle of.
It's in the middle of the two.
It's not, yeah.
And they promised people stuff. They showed people things. They had years to make this game,
right?
And we don't know what transpired, but it's really bad. Like, it's a bad thing. Like, how can you mess up a remake to the point to where you can't even play the old game at its original form?
Right.
And that's what to me, in my opinion, that's what makes it so bad. I can't play the original game in its original form.
Yeah, you release it in a state where it takes features away.
Exactly.
Instead of adds features. It's an unbelievable situation. So that's kind of where I'm at with Blizzard, man. Like they're a company I grew up with. They were my favorite company growing up, and they made some of my favorite games of all time, but they're just not that company anymore. And we say it all the time. You know, everybody's on the subreddit is saying it. Blizzard's not the same. Blizzard's not the same. They're Activision now. They're Activision. Well, refunding Warcraft 3 Reforged is not enough. Like you need to just like leave. If you don't want to support Blizzard anymore, then don't support Blizzard anymore. Don't buy Diablo 4. Don't buy Overwatch 2. Don't play the next WoW expansion. Like, stop supporting this company. If you truly believe they're different and they don't deserve your money for this, then do they deserve your money for everything else? Like, I mean, you have to make an individual choice. And like I said, I might buy some of their games, but it's like we were talking about. I was thinking about playing World of Warcraft again, the classic. Yeah. Like a week or in the past week, because I wanted the kind of that good Warcraft vibe, and they did a good job with Classic, but I'm just like, do I want to give this company money right now? No, I don't. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So it's you have to make an individual choice, and I think the only way to impact Blizzard and Activision is to hit them in the wallet, and that's the only thing they're going to listen to, and that's the only thing they're going to pay attention to, you know? We get outraged all we want, but we do this as gamers all the time. We get pissed and we get pissed and we get pissed, and then we move on to the next thing we get pissed about, and we forget about the last thing we got pissed about. You know, we're going to hit a cycle. We're already hitting it with the influencers, but us as fans as well are probably going to hit this in the next week or two, where we forget about Warcraft 3 Reforged and move on to the next game that pisses us off. And we got to stop doing that. Something constructive has to come out of these outrage moments. Like we have to like actually do something, you know.
And that's what I'm saying. We have to. We can be outraged. We can boycott. We can go on, Twitter. We can go on Reddit, Metacritic, and review bomb and do all this stuff. But if you still give them money, nothing's happening. Nothing's changing. Nothing's going to change. I feel like Fallout 76 is one of the prime examples. People are still playing that game, and it's egregious. Like, it's egregious.
Right.
And I just don't understand why people are still playing this game the way they do, and why other people are still playing other games after they've been bamboozled. Like, I don't know. So I think, I don't want to say we're the only fan base that does that, but it seems to happen to us a lot. And maybe because I'm in that fan base, it happens a lot. So as a consumer, we need to come together and start speaking with our wallets. And for the love of God, please stop being corporate shills.
Stop being like acolytes for corporations. I can't stand that shit, man. It's the worst, dude. I don't get it. Like, what is it about a company that makes you so loyal to them, you know? You don't
even have stock in the company.
Right. There's no reason to defend what they do.
Yeah.
There's no reason. And also, stop pre-ordering. Please, at least with digital, please stop pre-ordering games. I just can't. The amount of people on the Warcraft 3 subreddit that were like, yeah, I pre-ordered this game after BlizzCon 2018 and it was a mess and I've refunded it already. It's like, bro, you're the reason that they get away with this shit. Like, you got your refund, but most of the time that's not going to happen. Like, when you pre-order and the game comes out, you've got it, it's yours, and that's it. You're stuck. You know, you're not going to get your money back. So it's like, stop pre-ordering, because, dude, if 500,000 people or 1 million people pre-ordered Warcraft 3 Reforged, Activision literally could have just been like, oh, we already got the money that we were expecting for this game, so fuck it. Bye-bye budget. Get everybody off this game. Just make it as bare minimum as possible.
That's probably exactly what...
That is very possible that happened here. So I can't... And that, like... Pre-ordering gives them their money before they've given you anything in return. It's just, you're spending your money on literally nothing. Like, literally nothing at the point in time that you're spending it. It doesn't make sense.
There's literally no reason to pre-order. Like, I seen people say, well, for preloading, I want to preload.
Oh my God.
Bro, you can't wait like 3 hours? It max.
For real, dude.
Max 3 hours.
For real.
Like, affordable internet. If you're downloading it, you have affordable internet. So affordable internet, you're maybe getting 50 to 60 megs. That's like the low tier, right? you're gonna download a game with like 3 or 4 hours. You can wait 3 or 4 hours
At most.
at most.
At most. Like, you know what? How about this? You just do it overnight.
Or just go buy the game.
Yeah. Or play it physically. Yeah, buy it physically. I don't get it. So, yeah. We'll keep monitoring the Warcraft 3 Reforged situation. I'm hopeful Blizzard will fix it, but we'll see kind of what they do. I guess the first patch didn't go over well, but you know, they only were given like a week. They did that in a week, so we'll see what the next one holds. So let's move on. Next story here is Nintendo. So they announced some statistics about the Switch. They revealed that as of December 31st, last year, 2019, hardware sales have reached 52.48 million, and that Pokemon Sword and Shield unit sales have reached 16.06 million. They also confirmed that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold 22.96 million units to date on the Switch.
How is this game still selling? Holy
Super
shit.
Smash Bros. Ultimate has sold 17.68 million. Super Mario Odyssey has sold 16.59 million. And Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has sold 16.34 million.
Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable. That is a 1 in 3 attach rate for all of those games.
That's all first party.
That is insane. Sony and Microsoft would literally sacrifice children to get that attach rate for their first party games. 1 in 3, dude. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's case too, it's like 2.5 to 1. Like that's insanity, man. That like the fact that Nintendo's IP have that much penetration it's wild, dude. Like Pokemon Sword and Shield have almost sold more than Sun and Moon and X and Y in 3 months. That's crazy.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Remember the outrage about Pokemon's Sword and Shield? What happened, guys? What happened?
People just bought it.
Did you buy it anyways? Did you? Because
people just bought it. They just bought the game.
They did.
Like
we did too.
We
weren't. I wasn't.
We were criticizing it, but we said we were gonna try it, and we tried it, and then we admit that we were wrong about some things, but we were still right about other things.
Yes,
but that doesn't take away from the fun of the game.
Right.
Exactly. But on the other side of that, I don't like people who are like, oh yeah, on Twitter, like, oh man, they made 16 million. Where you guys are at? Like, do you guys have stock in Pokemon, the Pokemon company? Like, shut up, man. Like,
shut up, man. Yeah, are you really gonna defend Pokemon Home and like the season pass for Sword and Shield? Come on, man.
Yeah,
Stop it.
It's crazy.
Stop it, guys. Like Nintendo's got you wrapped around their finger. It's pretty wild. So 52.48 million units, though, that puts it over the Super NES now in terms of lifetime sales. And I mean, this thing's only been out. It's not even 3 years yet. It'll be a month before because it came out in March 2017. So, dude, that is insane sales numbers for a console in 3 years. That's pretty much on par with the PS4. I think it might even be faster than the PS4 was selling. So Nintendo really knocked it out of the park with the Switch. Like this is going to be one of their most successful devices probably ever by the time its life cycle's over.
Yeah.
Like it has a chance to eclipse the Wii, honestly, which is crazy to say, but I do expect this thing to hit 100 million units sold at some point. So I'm sure it will continue going forward. All right, next story. Let's move on. It's another Nintendo-centric story, and man, oh man, this is related to a game that I used to play on mobile, Fire Emblem Heroes.
You guys go back to episode 2, if you can excuse the audio for episode 2.
Just listen to me talk about this game.
Yeah, it's a very interesting story.
I poured my heart into that episode, and it sucks that the audio is not good, but like... Because I played this game for a while, like a year and a half or so. Yeah, and I spent some money on this game. So to see where this game is now is not surprising, I suppose. So they announced in a live stream a couple weeks ago for the 3rd anniversary of the game that they are going to be releasing a subscription for Fire Emblem Heroes called Feh Pass, which is FEH Pass, like Fire Emblem Heroes.
Gotcha.
So in the Feh Pass, you're going to be able to spend, it's going to cost you $9.49 a month per month for a subscription to a mobile game, What are you going to get with that $9.49? Well, you're going to get two characters called Resplendent Heroes every month, which are basically going to be reskins of existing 5-star heroes, and they're going to give those away for free. However, along with this new attire, these characters are going to get +2 to all their stats when you're playing with their new attire. So it's not just a cosmetic boost, it's actually a gameplay boost. They're going to have +2 all stats, which is crazy. That's not all, though. That's not all you're getting, obviously.
That's not all, folks. If you call now, you get bonus offer.
You're going to get subscriber-exclusive quests, which are going to give you rewards that are very, 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 very valuable. You're going to get orbs, which are the premium currency in Fire Emblem Heroes, divine codes, divine dew, aether stones, and heroic grails. And I don't know what all those things do, but I do know that they are very valuable within the game. They're not given away for free very often. They're hard to get, and they're super important for getting stronger in the game. You're also going to get this thing called Summoner Support. So Summoner Support in the game lets you basically choose a unit, and that is like your favorite unit. And that unit gets stat boosts for being your favorite unit. It gets like +2 all stats. I think it gets +5 HP too. And now you could only have one normally, and now you're going to be able to have 3.
Okay.
Which is fucking crazy because you can only deploy 4 units in this game. So that means 3 of them are going to... You can make 3 of them have permanent stat boosts.
Wow.
Every time you play, which is crazy. So they're giving you that. They're also adding gameplay features into this subscription pass.
Like what?
So it's going to be it's something called React. So let me read it off. This is off Nintendo's website here. So, quote, you will gain access to the React feature, which can be used at certain times to go back to a previous point in battle. The times when this feature can be used are listed below. At the game over screen, you will return. This will return you to the player phase of the final turn of the fight. At the start of a player phase, you'll get to go back to the previous player phase. And during a player phase, you'll be able to return to the start of the current player phase. So you'll basically be able to rewind your turns if you screwed something up. And
so it's the same functionality that was in here, Three Houses.
Yes, but it's not as OP as it is in Three Houses. You can't go back like 20 turns. You can only go back 1, but you have to pay for the subscription to get it. Like, this is literally a quality of life feature. They're locking behind this.
People will defend it, man.
Then there's one more thing you get. It's called a new gameplay feature as well called Easy Repeats. So, quote, you will gain access to a new auto start feature that will automatically play the same map a number of times for you set in advance. This will be useful for quickly gaining experience in SP. So this game has auto battle, so you can play it. You can turn auto battle on, and the game will just play itself. And what this does, basically, you can turn auto battle on and then say, I want to do this battle 99 times, and it'll do it 99 times while you're not playing. So you could literally not play the game. You're going to pay money to not play the game.
What the fuck?
That is insanity. This is horrific. This is horrifying. This is the worst nightmare, worst case scenario for a gacha game that they are at this point. This is wild. And the Fire Emblem Heroes Reddit is on fire. They hate this. They're super upset with Nintendo right now and Intelligent Systems for good reason. But man, as we said, go back to episode 2 and you will understand. These people are mad right now, but they're gonna buy this shit. I'm telling you, they're gonna buy this shit when this comes out. And this is actually, I think it's already out. Once this is out and people see how beneficial it is, the people that have money and can afford it are gonna buy this. Because this stuff in this game is really valuable. The shit they're offering here is super valuable. Like it will give you such a leg up over other people and in the game in general. Like
yeah. I mean, just that 99 battles thing, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Obviously, it's relying on how much stamina you have. So my example is extreme. You're not going to be able to do 99 battles, but you can do 5, 10. 15 even, depending on how much stamina you have. So it's this is pretty bad. And I mean, they took this basically straight out of Mario Kart Tour, which is their newest mobile game, which is
oh yeah, because they have the subscription model in that game.
Yes, they have a subscription model in that game, and that game is basically a Mario Kart gacha.
It's crazy how Nintendo goes under the water. They fly under the radar with this shit. It's crazy.
I've seen a lot of people say that, and honestly, it's getting to the point where it's hard to defend them because they are also adding microtransactions into the new Animal Crossing console game, which people were terrified of because that game feels like it is just purpose built for microtransactions.
Yeah.
And I'm sad to hear that because we don't know what the details of the microtransactions are, but
I guarantee
I assume it's going to be like cosmetics.
So you can do gardening and stuff in that game.
It's going to be like time boosters, right?
Oh, I fucking guarantee
it's time boosters. I think cosmetics too, right?
Yeah, probably
cosmetics.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, guys. All you Animal Crossing folks.
I played the original Animal Crossing. I played that game for hours.
Yeah.
Hours. And I even played the cell phone game, but I didn't get too deep into it because it had time boosters and everything of that nature, and it had microtransactions for cosmetics and things of that nature.
Right.
So I predicted when this game came out and it did so well, I'm like, man. I thought they weren't even going to come out with another Animal Crossing. I'm like, they're not going to come out with Animal Crossing because they have this game.
Was that game that good? The first one? Or are you talking about...
I'm talking about the mobile version.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I was thinking of the GameCube.
The mobile version. The GameCube version was really good, though. I mean, that's what...
Is it worth playing still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was really good, and I liked it a lot. It was different. When it came out, the time it came out, it was just really different.
Yeah.
But I think these microtransactions are about to be egregious. I don't see it.
Nintendo's one of the worst ones with it, man. Like I told you, Fire Emblem, the last few Fire Emblem games have had really bad microtransactions in them. And Three Houses is the first one to actually have something maybe justifiable in Cindered Shadows that's coming out in 2 days or 3 days.
Yeah.
Because it's an actual like additional content.
Yeah.
They haven't really done that in a lot of the other Fire Emblems. Like most of them aren't really new content. It's like EXP maps and gold maps and shit like that. And they'll give you like maybe in one new character with a new class or something. Like it's like they don't.
Intelligence systems have to have a shitload of money now.
Dude, they are Nintendo's cash cow. Like you think Pokemon is a cash cow. Fire Emblem has turned into Nintendo's cash cow, bro. Like it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
And I think they can't. I think they're getting away with it from Fire Emblem because it's really popular, but it's not Pokemon popular, right?
Right.
So they can't put the microtransactions in Pokemon because it will gain too much attention.
Well, they're taking advantage of a different market too, man.
Yeah, exactly.
The weebs, like it's.
Oh man,
you give them what they want and they will give you money, baby.
I know.
And I'm one of them. Like I'm not, and I partook in this shit for a while, and it took me a while to get out of it. And it's a dark place. It's a dark place. And to see this game doing this sucks. Like it's sad because I don't know. Like if I wasn't so traumatized by my experience with this and Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, I might have gone back to this game at some point to like try it out again and play it again, but I just can't trust myself. I don't trust myself. I feel like an addict almost. Like that's the way I look at it in my brain. Like I've thought about downloading this game again and playing it again.
Wow, really?
And then I pull my phone up and I'm like, no, you can't do this. You can't do it. Like you will fall back into the deep depths of that rabbit hole and you won't come out. Like so I have to like control myself and dude, when you're in it, it's so hard to get out. And man, I'm telling you, man, people are gonna pay for this. They're gonna pay for it, and it might even fracture that community. Like you're gonna have the people who have it and the people who don't have it, and the people who don't have it are gonna hate the people who have it. You know, and then it's gonna create resentment in the other direction where the people who have it, well, they hate the people who don't have it because they're being hated on. You know. And it's like, It's just going to be ugly, man. So it sucks. It's sad to see. But, all right, let's move on. We got a lot more to get through here. The next story is about Sony and Nintendo as well. So there was a survey that Sony sent out a few weeks ago or a couple weeks ago asking a few questions. The biggest one being having PS4 remote play on some different devices. And the specific question was, quote, ability to remote, would you be interested in the ability to PS4 remote play on more devices, e.g., able to play on Nintendo Switch, Apple TV, or Android TV? Obviously, the big one there being Nintendo Switch.
That was very specific, too.
Right. It is very specific. And, of course, people would be interested in this. Honestly, using it on Vita, I've used it a couple times. It works pretty well, man. And if you could just do it on Switch, I mean, shit, why not? And I mean, the thing that come out of that though is like, I do feel like if they ever did release this on Switch, it basically means they're not coming out with their own handheld ever again. So
yeah, I think they're finally handing off the game to Nintendo.
Right, which I think is maybe stupid, but it is what it is. Sony knows what they're good at.
Yeah, I think the way other companies think of it as the streaming thing that's going on, the cloud and all that other stuff, that's going to be the new mobile. Yeah. And I think that's the one that's going to compete with like the Switch and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see how these next couple of years are going to turn out for that.
Right. Some other things other questions that they posed in the survey, allowing remote play on a device that's not connected to the internet, allowing remote play on a PS4 connected to the internet, enabling access to PS1 and PS2 games, releasing a slim/portable DualShock controller that's easier to carry on the go, and letting you connect other controllers such as an Xbox controller or a mouse and keyboard. All those things are yes.
Yes. Like,
please do all of them. Why are you asking people? We would all be happy with that. Yes. What are you doing?
Yes.
So, yeah, interesting stuff. Hopefully some of that stuff comes to fruition. All right, next story. Also about PlayStation. They are closing their Manchester VR studio. This isn't like a huge deal, but Sony hasn't closed the studio in a couple years or 3 years. I think Gorilla Cambridge might have been the last one they closed. That was in 2017.
Okay.
And this has been their VR. This is their VR studio. They opened this opened the studio back in 2015 exclusively to make VR games, and they haven't. They didn't. They were working on a game that is obviously not coming out now, unfortunately, and that it's interesting because they're pretty behind VR. And like honestly, I think a PlayStation VR 2 is pretty likely at this point. So. It is interesting that they're closing the studio down, but they just must not have felt that they were getting enough out of them, I guess, and they can get their money through VR from outside studios.
Yeah, probably, or they just see that VR sucks. Anyway,
man, all right, I'm not even gonna have this conversation with you. I can't. You're so jaded about this. This is wild, man. All right, let's move on to Microsoft. Let's do some Microsoft talk. So Phil Spencer was he did an interview with somebody, and he said an interesting quote about Nintendo and Sony that has kind of had people buzz. So here's the quote. Quote, when you talk about Nintendo and Sony, we have a ton of respect for them, but we see Amazon and Google as the main competitors going forward. That's not to disrespect Nintendo and Sony, but the traditional gaming companies are somewhat out of position. I guess they could try to recreate Azure, but we've invested tens of billions of dollars in the cloud over the years. So this is obviously... There's multiple things with this quote that I think he's trying to say here. I think he's taking a shot at Nintendo and Sony.
He's definitely flexing. He's flexing.
Yeah, I think he's flexing for one. But I also think this is posturing because he knows that they're like Microsoft's not winning in the traditional sense of console wars. Of course, he has to position them to be the ones like, oh, we're about the future. We're going to be the ones in the forefront of the future of gaming, cloud gaming. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Google and Amazon are our competitors, even though everybody doesn't care about Google. Like, it's like, bro, I know what you're doing here. You're trying to deflect from the fact that you got fucking trounced this generation. As much as I have praised some of their moves in recent years, like this is
he has to do it. This was for the shareholders. I don't think this was for gamers. This is definitely for shareholders.
Probably, but it's I don't know. I don't.
But yeah, it's you got your ass beat. Like just. Yeah. And I understand you don't want to admit that. Companies don't want to admit when they're wrong and stuff like that. But you got your ass beat this generation by Nintendo and Sony. Or I should say Sony and Nintendo.
Well, dude, Nintendo's at the point with the Switch because we just talked about the numbers. Like they're probably close to the Xbox One's lifetime sales in 3 years. Like, so yeah, no, Microsoft got their ass beat like bad, but. You know, so
or Xbox fanboys would be like, well, you know, actually, the Switch is the next generation, so technically we beat the.
Technically, bro, just Just shut up.
Technically, we beat the Wii U, so
yeah, everybody beat the Wii U. I think the Vita beat the Wii U. Like for real, bro. Like it's just the Vita. Come on, man. The handheld that Sony literally didn't talk about after it came out. Like it just. Oh man. So yeah, no, this is posturing for sure, but I do think it is interesting though to think about, because I do believe him when he says cloud is kind of the future. I think they believe that, and I think they're posturing their next console with that in mind, because I just don't think they don't seem interested with the way they've talked and the way they're positioning the Xbox Series X. I don't think they're that interested in selling tons of consoles. That just doesn't seem to be the priority. They want to really proliferate their games anywhere you can play them, Yeah. Because people have been talking about maybe this being the last console generation, and honestly, I could see that for Microsoft. Like, I think it could be the last console generation for Microsoft.
You think so?
Just the way they're going, like, what need do they have to make their own hardware in 10 years when you can just put your games on everybody's shit and make your money that way? Like, it's...
they're going to do the Windows approach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically. And yeah, so I don't know. I understand where he's coming from. I don't necessarily like not believe what he's saying here, that he doesn't believe it, but it's yeah, there's a lot there. He's posturing, but he's also telling the truth. So yeah. All right. Moving on. Talking about cloud stuff actually. Nvidia has released their own cloud service over last week.
And this came out of nowhere.
GeForce Now, I had heard nothing about this, and man, it's getting pretty rave reviews from people. People are really really into this. Apparently, it's actually like better than Stadia in the sense that the library you have access to is whatever you have on Steam, and some other games as well that are not on Steam.
Yeah.
But like you can use anything you have on Steam with this, which like Stadia has like 30 games on it. It's like a joke, and you have to buy the games on Stadia. Like with this,
and when we hear the latency is way better.
Well, yeah, because with Stadia you have to spend. Don't you have to spend 130 to get in? Right?
Yeah, you got to buy the console, or the controller, and whatever,
whatever the hell else. Then you have to pay a subscription, right?
Yep.
Then you have to buy the games individually, right?
Yep.
How much money do you have to spend there? Well, with GeForce Now, they're doing a founders package right now for 12 months, $4.99 a month.
What?
No other cost.
That's actually really good.
No other cost. You don't have to buy a controller. You don't have to do I think you can use like an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller or like a Steam controller with it. And yeah, $4.99 a month for 12 months. So $60 gets you a year of this, the premium version of this, and there's a free version. You can do this for free right now. Just go to NVIDIA's website. Just Google search GeForce Now. There's a free version that lets you play for an hour per day.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you say you're at work and you get an hour break,
you
could use this to play video games on that hour, and that's the only time you need it, and you don't have to pay anything.
I might do that shit.
Legitimately, like
that's good.
Well, this is the smart way to do it. The cost is like nothing. There's no barrier to entry here. It's like so little that like the barrier to entry to what I just said with Google is insane. You have to spend like $200 just to play one game in Google's garbage environment, and it's not even necessarily going to play that well. This, I mean, man, you already own the games. You play what you have, Yeah,
it's actually no cost. Like if you don't like it, just don't play it anymore.
Right. There is a limit on session length with this. Even with the pay version, it's 6 hours a day. But, dude, that's a lot.
That's
a lot of gaming. I know people are going to be like, oh, my God, there's a limit. But it's like, bro, do you actually play 6 hours a day? Like, I don't think you do.
No.
And if you do, are you really going to play in the cloud for 6 hours a day? I don't think so. I doubt it. I really doubt it. So, it's interesting. So this is something to keep an eye on. Like these cloud services, I think they're gonna start popping up, man. Like they're already like obviously we know Microsoft has theirs, Google has theirs, Nvidia has theirs, but I mean I could see more if these things kind of take off. Like I think people are gonna start trying this. You know? And we'll see how they go. So I'm not super interested in it myself right now, but that could change if they're as cheap as the GeForce one. I mean, it's a tempting thing to try. So, and I can at least try it for free. So, yeah. All right. Next story. This one is interesting. So, Platinum Games, last week, they launched a Kickstarter for The Wonderful 101, a remastered version of the game that would be released on Switch. And they put the goal at 50,000 on Kickstarter and blew past that in like 10 minutes. It's ridiculous. So the Kickstarter is currently at 1.583 million out of a $50,000 goal. And they put some ports. I think the first stretch goal was a PC port at 250,000 and then a PS4 port at 500,000. Yeah, that's correct. At $1 million, they had a stretch goal of the Time Attack for $1 million. 1.5 million, Luca's First Mission, a 2D side-scrolling adventure starring a young hero. And they have a couple more stretch goals out there right now. So the reason I wanted to talk about this, though, is that we have not seen a game, or at least a remaster. Like, we've seen games on Kickstarter, but nothing like this. Like an established company like this.
I really think, man, and I understand. I think I know where you're about to go with this.
Yeah.
And I agree with you.
Can I say my point so people aren't confused?
No.
Okay.
No, they're just going to guess it. They got to wait.
All right.
But I think they did this Kickstarter to see if there was interest in the game. And now that there's interest in the game, I honestly don't believe majority of the money is going to go for this remaster. I think it's going to go for a Wonderful 101 Part 2 or something like that. They're probably...
Wonderful 102.
Yeah, Wonderful 102. They're probably gearing up for like a Part 2 or a sequel to this game. But what's your point?
Well, this is questionable, in my opinion, ethically, because you're asking people to crowdfund a game that you can afford to make yourself.
Yeah.
They can afford to publish this game. Like, they pretended in their Kickstarter video that they don't have the money to like remaster this game and publish it on current consoles. Bullshit. You just got like a $500 million or not, I don't, was it that much? They got a huge investment from Tencent like recently.
Dang, wow.
What reason being is because they want to become a publisher. Platinum does.
Ah, okay.
They're planning on becoming their own publishing arm or publisher themselves because they've been relying on like Square Enix forever and Nintendo and so they're thinking about like bringing Bayonetta. Well, they're already bringing Bayonetta to current consoles, but I think Bayonetta 2 potentially and even Bayonetta 3
and Vanquish.
Vanquish is coming in the collection this month with Bayonetta. So I think it's all kind of part of that, but for me, yeah, the idea that you're like, oh, we can't afford to remaster The Wonderful 101, but we love this game so much. We really want to bring it to current-gen consoles, but we don't have the money for it. We need you guys to help us. Like,
yeah, I really think it's a shitty way to see if the game gets traction, if there's fans for the game.
It's bullshit.
It's a really shitty way. It is taking advantage of the people, but on the business side, it's genius. But
50,000 goal, you're gonna hit that no matter what. What if imagine for instance this wasn't that big.
What if it didn't hit it though? What if it didn't hit it?
No, what I'm saying is like what if they barely hit it? Like it was like they made like 51,000, you know? Like
yeah, that would be different.
They would have been obligated to remaster this game and put it on Switch. Would they have been happy with that? Fuck no, they wouldn't have, but they would have done it. 50,000 is not enough money to publish a game. It's not enough money to remaster a game. Frankly, 1.583 million is not enough money to remaster a game and publish a game. But yeah, so I don't know. They literally use this to gauge interest, and that's the part about it that I think is kind of messed up is that they're taking money. I mean, they're letting people purchase the game basically through this Kickstarter. So I guess it's not that messed up, but I don't know. It's a little sinister to me, but it's kind of an interesting way to do things. I just hope other companies don't take note of this and try to do this. I don't want to see like EA being like, oh, we want to remaster Mass Effect and we wanted to see if there's interest in that, you know? You can totally see that happening, bro.
Yeah,
right?
You can tell by that goddamn hashtag you guys created. Shut up.
Yeah, man.
I fucking hate EA.
Oh man, EA is the worst.
I mean, they did it with Shenmue.
Yeah. Yeah, Sony did that with. Oh my god, what a horrible thing that was, man. To go on an E3 stage and be like, "Here's Shenmue 3. Yeah, we're doing a Kickstarter, guys," and like Sony's like totally could have published that game, and they were like, "Eh."
They didn't want to take the risk, man. Why take the risk when you can have the fans take the risk?
That's exactly why this is fucked up.
Yeah,
that's my problem with it. I don't necessarily have a problem with the idea of people crowdfunding this, and like because they're going to get their copy of their game cheaper than when it comes out. But that's the problem I have with it, is that they're putting the risk on people, on a group of people that it's like the way taxes work in the United States, where the poor get taxed the most. Like we give all the money to the government.
Yeah.
That's the fucked up part. You're putting the risk on the people who cannot afford to shoulder that burden of that risk, and that's what's messed up for me. And the idea that they're going to come in here and be like, we don't have the money, we can't afford to publish the Wonderful 101 remaster. It's like, guys, fuck off. Like, you're full of shit. They made this cute little video, and it was cute and all, but I don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
I don't know.
We don't know what's going on with that money.
It doesn't sit well with me.
Because you would say that to me if this was on the side of the fence. So I'm going to say to you, we don't know what they're doing with that money from Tencent.
That's true.
We don't know the obligations behind that money. Maybe they can't use that for certain.
That's true.
Certain things.
That's true. That's totally true. That's totally valid. And I do think there's a large chance that money is set aside for something specific. That we don't know about. And it could be to help them become a publisher.
Yeah.
But they didn't, like, Tencent was like, no, you can't publish this game, like, or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me.
But no, so like I said, I'm teetering on the fence. But to your dismay, I kind of believe that it is a little grimy that they're asking the fans to crowd fund this game.
Right.
Instead of just like taking a poll or something like that and seeing people are interested in the game or something like that. Because it would have been cheaper to take a poll.
There's other ways to explore interest in a series.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Like release that little 2D side scrolling game. See if your fans buy that, and I don't know. Just there's certain things you could have done.
Right, because dude, the pledges you can do right now. So $36 gets you the game digitally. $41 gets you a physical release. $51 gets you the digital game and the OST. $55 gets you the Wonderful 101 physical game with a digital soundtrack and a digital comic. $69 gets you 2 copies of the Wonderful 101 remastered digital. $73 gets you a double physical combo. $75 gets you a physical game plus OST. So they're like, I mean, this keeps going. $77, $101. It doesn't end. $135, $144.
Wow.
$181. $246.
What does the highest one do for you?
$328. $1,002. $1,639. $2,276.
What's the stretch goals though? Like
$5,006. This keeps going.
What's the pledge?
Hold on. So let me go over the $5,000 one because this has everything in it. So you get the abridged digital soundtrack, the digital comic, physical release of the Wonderful 101 remastered, a keychain, a abridged CD soundtrack, a T-shirt, a sticker set, physical comic book, Centennial's identification card, softcover art book, acrylic standee, wonderful pendant, vinyl record soundtrack, full CD soundtrack, the Wonderful 101 custom controllers, thank you mentioned in the art book, the Wonderful 101 button and display case, 12-inch figure, and you get blocked on Twitter by Camille.
I already got that.
Oh my god. Is that worth $5,000 to you? All that shit that I just listed? That's a bunch of garbage.
Bro, I'm already blocked.
I know, you have already got a piece of it too. Can they give you a discount?
Probably.
Give you a discount on this one? Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, this is like reading that. I didn't even read that before I just read it. I didn't even know about all this. This is egregious. That's egregious shit.
I told you getting blocked by him was an honor, man.
Dude, this is egregious shit, though.
Oh yeah,
this is crazy.
That's a terrible $5,000 stretch goal.
And you have this many pledge levels for something this simple. This is crazy to me. And there are people who backed at these levels, man. Like, there's 6 backers who did the $5,000 bundle. Are you kidding me?
They must be crazy rich.
Are you kidding me? Crazy. Dude, oh my God. 500. Oh, there's a $500 one that you can't do anymore. 50 backers. $747 one that's 25 backers, can't do it anymore. 7 backers at 1,000, can't do it anymore. 7 backers at 1,500, can't do it anymore. 1,800, 7 backers. 2,500, 7 backers.
Who are these people?
I don't know. They love the Wonderful 101, though. Holy shit. So, yeah, no, this is a little grimy. That's a little grimy. Little grimy, man. Little bit grimy. So, I rest my case. All right, moving on. Next story, though. This is a big one, actually. Take-Two has announced that Dan Houser, the vice president of creative at Rockstar Games and co-founder of the studio, along with his brother Sam Houser, is departing Rockstar Games on March 11th. His final day will be on March 11th. So there's a quote that they released. After an extended break beginning in the spring of 2019, Dan Houser, vice president creative at Rockstar Games, will be leaving the company. Dan Houser's last day will be March 11th, 2020. We are extremely grateful for his contributions. Rockstar Games has built some of the most critically acclaimed and commercially successful game worlds, a global community of passionate fans, and an incredibly talented team, which remains focused on current and future projects. And that's the end of the quote. This guy's a big deal with Rockstar, though, dude. He's been the primary creative force behind many of the stories of many of their games, including the Red Dead Redemption games, Grand Theft Auto, I think 3, 4, and 5, Bully, Max Payne. Big deal. And these are recent games, too. Red Dead Redemption 2, I mean, just came out last year or year and a half ago.
Maybe, like I said, I don't think it sounds like he's not leaving for something like personal. I think he's leaving, as long as he's leaving for something personal, but not related to the company, that's the only reason I can think he's leaving, because like you said, his brother's still there. I mean,
I think it's likely that he just is done.
Yeah, that's what I think.
He's just like, I don't need to do this anymore.
Yeah, I think he's just like, I'm going to hand off the helm.
I'm super rich, and I'm just going to go enjoy my life.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, which I could totally see, but, I mean, this is a big deal, though, for Rockstar. Like, they'll probably be fine, but it's, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how their studio is affected by this in the coming years.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're like, Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2 are renowned games for their storytelling.
Yeah,
Renowned, like some of the best in the industry. And now I haven't played them personally, but that's how people feel about those games.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they can maintain that bar of quality, I guess.
I feel like it's going to have a placebo effect, though, in the opposite way. I feel like stories might be just as good, but people are like, oh, man, it was so much better when What's-His-Face was here.
Or it could be the opposite, where they're worse, and people are like, oh, well, it's just as good as it always was.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm sure we'll have both of them for sure. So, interesting. I mean, this is the biggest studio in the world. They have like 2,000 employees.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh
Holy
yeah,
shit.
yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway,
you made me snort. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I don't think I've done that on the show yet, man. Oof. I don't know when I became a snorter, but it happened in my like late teens, I feel like. And I never snorted before. It's a weird thing.
I snort every once in a blue moon. I snort. It's really funny. Like that tweet you sent me. No, not the tweet, but the fucking video of the cyclone. So oh my god. I never laughed so hard in my life.
Nobody knows what we're talking about. So everybody, go ahead and Google this if you haven't. So go ahead and there's an animation in Warcraft 3 Reforged from a unit called the Druid of the Talon, and they use this ability called Cyclone, which basically CCs a unit into the air and they can't do anything and they just like spin around. Go and Google a video of that in Warcraft 3 Reforged and just watch it. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It is such a bad animation on so many levels. And I sent this to Montrell, and he just died. Like, he burst out laughing. And for educational purposes, go look at the original one from Warcraft 3 Classic.
Please look at the original.
It's better. Like, it's like
better.
Not even a question. It's better.
Yeah,
like, it's way better. It's not amazing by any stretch of the imagination. It could be improved, but
it's better in the sense that the game is an isometric strategy. RPG, not RPG, but strategy game. RTS game. So we don't expect the animation to be like super good,
top notch. Yeah,
but we expect really good animations from these. But this one, it just looked like they didn't try. It looks like
dude, it's something I would make. Like if I were starting out making animations, bro, it's like something I would make on my first draft, like my first attempt.
The reason why I was laughing so hard is because my first year of college for game design, that looked like something someone made, and that's why I was laughing so fucking hard.
It really does, dude. It's like because I broke it down on. I was replying to the Reddit post that I saw this on, and I broke it down, and why it looks so bad is that the unit the animation happens so fast because the Cyclone is supposed to come out of the ground and lift the unit into the air. But the animation happens so fast that it looks like the unit just teleports into the air, and the Cyclone just appears.
And then they're spinning so slow.
And then the unit in the air spins so slowly, and they spin in place like they're on a platform that's rotating. Whereas the old animation comes up slowly, and your eyes can keep up with it, and then they spin in concentric circles.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're not in the same place. Like, you can improve that animation where the unit has its own, because even in old Warcraft 3, the unit just stood still.
Yeah,
and didn't
exactly.
move. Like, you could make an animation where they're like throwing their arms in the air and flailing around or whatever, and like you could make it look better. But it's just like the Reforged one is so bad. It's so funny.
In the clip that I watched, he called the tornado. I just didn't expect it.
It does blindside you.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a second, because the units don't say they're about to cast anything.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like getting attacked by these bears or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're just in the air getting thrown around by this cyclone or whatever. It's like, it's so calm looking.
Exactly.
That's the problem. It's like supposed to be a tornado.
Oh my
it's
God.
Like, it's really funny.
Oh man, I was crying.
It was. It looks like a amateur's first attempt at animation. It really does. So, all right, let's move on to another game that was poorly received and was not finished. Anthem. So we talked about a few months ago our hopes for Anthem down the road. Actually, this might have been way back when the game came out too. That we were hoping they would do a Final Fantasy 14 for it.
Yes,
and kind of rebuild it from the ground up. Well, looks like that's happening. It was rumored. We didn't talk about this, but Jason Schreier wrote an article back in November detailing plans in BioWare to basically redo Anthem.
Yeah.
And that seems to be true because Casey Hudson released a blog post on BioWare's website. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday, February 10th. Yeah. And I'm going to read this out. So, quote, "Hey, everyone. 1 year ago, we were preparing to launch Anthem, a game that represented a big leap into new territory for us as a studio. It was an exhilarating and terrifying experience to go out to the world with something new and different, and we are grateful to all the players who have come along with us on the journey. It has been a thrill for us to see the creativity of our players in designing customized javelins and watching them master Anthem's flying and fighting gameplay. I am so proud of the work the team has put into the game, and at the same time, there's so much more that we and you would have wanted from it. Over the last year, the team has worked hard to improve stability, performance, and general quality of life while delivering 3 seasons of new content and features. We have also heard your feedback that Anthem needs a more satisfying loot experience, better long-term progression, and a more fulfilling end game. Wow. So we recognize that there's still more fundamental work to be done to bring out the full potential of the experience, and it will require a more substantial reinvention than an update or expansion. Over the coming months, we will be focusing on a longer-term redesign of the experience, specifically working to reinvent the core gameplay loop with clear goals, motivating challenges, and progression with meaningful rewards. while preserving the fun of flying and fighting in a vast science fantasy setting. And to do that properly, we'll be doing something we'd like to have done more the first time around, giving a focus team the time to test and iterate, focusing on gameplay first. In the meantime, we will continue to run the current version of Anthem, but move away from full seasons as the team works towards the future of Anthem. We'll keep the game going with events, store refreshes, and revisiting past seasonal and Cataclysm event content, starting with our anniversary towards the end of the month. Creating new worlds is central to our studio mission, but it's not easy. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we miss. What keeps us going is the support from players like you. Your feedback gives us guidance on how we can improve and how your passion inspires us with the courage to create. I look forward to working together with your involvement and feedback towards the best possible future for Anthem. End quote. How do you feel about this?
I think it's a good move, honestly. I think they should have been did this like right after the game's released. But I understand you need to let it go for a while.
Yeah, I think they probably felt this way because he said they've been working on it like for a while now in the blog post. So I think they were waiting for the right timing. And a year after the game comes out, the outrage has died down. All the funny memes have died down. They're far enough removed from this game that I think it was, they're safe enough to kind of release this statement and give people hope for this game. So I'm happy they're doing it. We said we wanted this from the get-go. I do expect a better game to come out of it. It's just how much better is kind of the question, I guess. As much as we liked Anthem and did think it had potential from a gameplay standpoint, I just don't know if I trust BioWare to pull this off, but we'll see.
I'm going in with the benefit of the doubt. It depends on how long they give this game. Right. They really have to be dedicated to it like Square was to Final Fantasy 14. They can't half-ass it. Like, they really have to remake this game from the ground up.
Well, and one thing they didn't mention here and things they wanted to improve was story. He didn't mention anything about story.
I don't think anything was wrong with the story. I just think
it's bad though. It needs work.
I mean,
they need to add stuff.
Yes, there you go. That's
to flesh it out. They don't need to strip it out and start from zero, but they need to.
I like the world that they built, but I don't like the story that they have presented to me right now.
Right. And one thing that is going to be different with this, it doesn't sound like they're going to be doing an open rebuild of the game like Square did with Final Fantasy 14. With Final Fantasy 14, they allowed the players to kind of test out features they were putting into the game as they built them, it doesn't sound like they're doing that here with Anthem. They're going to be making this game behind the scenes while the current game is still out there, so that does run the risk of them making some bad choices. I hope they're more open with the communication than they were before the game came out and even shortly after the game came out, where I kind of hope they start doing these blog posts every month to 2 months to tell people their progress and some of the things they're adding to the game and things they're working on so that people can at least give them some feedback.
I wonder how big BioWare is in general, because, we know they closed the Montreal studio, and I know they got the studio in Austin. And they got
who's working on this? That's who's working on this.
Yeah, exactly. And they got the studio in Edmonton. But, are they calling, other EA studios to help them with their other projects? Because they got Dragon Age 4. They got a new Mass Effect game we already know it's coming. They're working on right now. Even though it's still in its infancy stage, we know it's coming out.
Right.
There's rumors about a Mass Effect remaster, and then
a new Mass Effect game too.
A new Mass Effect game. And then we got this game being remade, remade.
Well, plus they have the Old Republic still online. And getting new features and shit too.
Old Republic, and on top of that, we heard of a new Old Republic game, and we don't know if they're involved in that or not, though.
Well, so this is kind of what I think is happening. I think a large chunk of the studio is working on this.
Okay.
For Austin.
Austin.
I think a small group of people still keep the Old Republic running and add new content to that game. I don't think it's a lot, though. And maybe 10, 20 people probably. And then I think whatever's left in Austin could be working on the beginnings of that Old Republic game, the Knights of the Old Republic game, potentially. Or like you said, they're not working on it at all and they have a different studio on it entirely. That's possible. Maybe BioWare's helping, or maybe BioWare's getting help from another studio.
Maybe
that's
like
very
consulting.
possible.
Yeah, maybe
consulting.
I think they might just be consulting. That would be a very likely case.
And then I think Edmonton is working on Dragon Age 4 like almost in full force. And I think they got probably a small crew doing pre-production on the new Mass Effect game.
Okay.
Now the remaster is where things kind of get thrown, a wrench gets thrown in. I don't think.
You don't think there's
if they're remastering it, I don't think BioWare's doing it. I think somebody else is. They probably I think they have a port studio or one of their internal teams doing it with BioWare kind of consulting on it.
Okay,
probably.
gotcha. Yeah.
That would be my assumption. Those are my guesses on what's going on right now. And I think they have enough people to juggle all that. It's a lot, but
yeah, I just get nervous because we know how they operate. So
we do.
Yeah.
We do, but they don't have room for error anymore.
Yeah, but
they've screwed up 2 games in a row. They can't keep doing this.
It's the game company, though. I mean,
I know.
You know,
but
Blizzard.
Dude, Dragon Age 4 needs to be good, man.
I keep hearing rumors about this multiplayer. I think they need to get rid of that and just go straight single player. Like they just needed to do straight single player. It could be good, but because I said the same thing about Mass Effect 3, and Mass Effect 3's multiplayer was fucking awesome, but.
A lot of people felt that way. Like that they didn't want it, and then they played it, and it was like, this was actually really fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like I never tried it, but it looked pretty cool. Actually,
yeah, it was pretty cool. But I mean, if they are gonna do multiplayer, they just gotta do it right. They can't make that the main focus of the game, though.
Yeah, that can't be the only way to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on. Final couple stories here. Last couple, like 2 weeks ago, the Outer Worlds was announced for Switch. We didn't talk about this last week, but this story kind of morphed over the week with the outbreak of the coronavirus. This game it was announced to be coming on March 6th, and then it was delayed because of the coronavirus with an indeterminate release date. But this delay means now that the game will be coming on cartridge for Switch, which was not the case before. It was going to be digital only.
Okay.
So there's going to be a physical release of the Outer Worlds on Switch, which is cool. That'll be interesting on Switch. I don't know how well the game even runs on PS4 and Xbox One, but whatever you can get on Switch, you just get it on Switch. It is a good place to put games. Would you play it on there? Or would you rather play it on a console, like a regular console?
You know what? Outer Worlds is one of those games I'll play on the go. It's a single player game, and I'll play on the go. Yeah, I'll play it on the go.
Really? I don't know if that type of game really lends itself to playing in a handheld for me.
It's an offline single player game, and I'll definitely do that.
It's just so immersive, though. Like I don't think I'd want to play The Witcher on the Switch as much as it's on there, and it's cool that it's on there. Like I don't know if I want to play that kind of game on Switch.
You're right. I mean, I don't know. It's a hit or miss for me. Maybe if the graphics were better, then it's a total 100% yes. But since I know the graphics are gonna be ass, I may just play it on Xbox One or PS4.
Yeah, because for me, the Switch, I'm looking for games that are really kinetic action games or turn-based games. Those are the kind of games I want to play on handheld.
Yeah.
And games that are really grindy. I don't want to play games like super story-driven games that require my full attention. I'm not super into that on handheld.
I mean, what you're saying,
other people probably feel differently than me on that, but like handhelds for me are something I can do while I'm doing something else, a lot of the time. So that's kind of how I view it. So I don't know if that kind of game would appeal to me on Switch, but okay, let's move on. Final story. Wizards of the Coast announced a new game that is going to be a sci-fi RPG headed up by a bunch of ex-BioWare developers. They just kind of announced this out of nowhere. They announced the studio's creation like a year ago, I think.
Yeah, you remember? I think we did a story on it, a short story.
You think so?
We did a little tiny article tidbit on it, and then we went away with it.
Okay, well, they actually announced the game. They didn't say a name or anything, but it's going to be a sci-fi RPG, choice-driven RPG in the vein of something like Mass Effect or Knights of the Old Republic, potentially. And it's just interesting. It's notable. It's kind of cool to hear. It's exciting. The fact that Wizards of the Coast is doing this is weird. Like they're not typically a company that has a ton of game studios under their umbrella, but obviously they're known for board games. They're a board game company. They make D&D and Magic the Gathering, which two of the biggest board game IPs out there. So
yeah, I think they'll probably fund this game because within their realm, right? I think this is like a match made in heaven for a lot of people because
it is. You can put D&D rules in this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would be cool.
Exactly,
because we don't get a lot of D&D based video games anymore.
Yeah,
that was a late '90s, early 2000s kind of thing on PC,
and he may modernize it up to the degree of Mass Effect or something like that. So I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen. This is a really cool I don't know. This is really
announcement.
Cool. Yeah, this is really cool.
It's just like so weird though. It's like you're announcing something. Like like we're not gonna see this game for probably 3 years.
It would be crazy if they did show something at E3. But
I just don't.
I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe 2022.
So I don't know what the impetus for even announcing this was, but well, actually, hold on a second. Is there a name? Did they announce a name? Is it called Archetype? Oh, no, that's the name of the studio, Archetype Entertainment. So, yeah. It says build the future. And then they talk about their studio, and that's it. About us, join us, contact us. That's it. There's not even a listing for the game yet on their website. So, yeah, interesting. But
the guys who made it though have some clout.
Oh yeah, no. BioWare's Austin studio director Chad Robertson, who worked on the old Star Wars: The Old Republic, Neverwinter Nights, and Baldur's Gate. Also James Olin, who worked on Dragon Age and Knights of the Old Republic as well. So these are some big names that they've gotten on the studio.
Yeah.
So I do think this game's going to have high expectations whenever it does come out, more than likely. So I guess we will see about that. So let's move on to the final segment of the day. Game releases. There's a lot coming out this week. Dreams is coming out on the 14th on Friday, the day this podcast posts.
Oh, man, you know me. I was just waiting for some Dreams.
Well, I don't care about the game, but I am so morbidly curious about how well this game does. I just don't think it's going to sell very well.
I haven't heard a peep about this on my timeline, on the PlayStation 4 Reddit. I haven't heard nothing about it.
I did see an ad though yesterday for it.
Really?
So they're starting to advertise it a little bit, but they put, a bare minimum budget into it, probably the marketing budget for this game. Daemon X Machina is coming on PC on Thursday, which I think you said you were interested in.
Yeah.
Darksiders Genesis? I didn't even know there.
That's it's like a twin stick shooter.
Okay. So this isn't like a Darksiders game proper.
It is a Darksiders game, but yeah, it's a twin stick shooter. From when I saw it, looks actually pretty fun. It's like a cross between a twin stick shooter and Diablo.
Okay, cool. Let's see. There's a tennis game coming out. AO Tennis 2.
Now, what's that soccer game coming out?
Rafael Nadal is. You're talking about the turn-based one?
Yeah. Is that the turn-based one we were looking at?
Yeah. It came out last week.
That Bam Namco?
I think so. Hold on. Oh God. Oh, I'm gonna be so mad that I don't. I had it in the list of stories, but I took it out because I didn't think we were. We were gonna talk about it. I fucked it up. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. What is it's like Grand something? Oh my God. Gambare. That's what it's called.
That's what it's called?
It's called Gambare, like Super Soccer Tactics or something like that. And it looks interesting. I don't think I'm gonna play it, but it looked interesting enough to maybe try it. But yeah, it's a cool little indie. I can't find it on.
I know. What's the other one we were looking at? Oh man.
Oh, the anime one you're talking about.
Yeah, the anime one.
Oh, that I don't think that's out anytime soon, is it?
Okay.
No.
That's the one I'm waiting for. That shit looks really cool.
Yeah, no, that one looked really good. It was like an anime action soccer game, and it looked better than FIFA ever could. There was like backflips and like
super animations
and all sorts of crazy shit happening. Yakuza Remastered Collection too on PS4.
Oh yeah, I might get that.
That's coming out today. So, that looks like it. We get some interesting stuff maybe next week. Maybe Maybe not. Yeah, so I think that's it, guys. You got anything else you want to talk about, Montrell? Any other games on here that look interesting to you?
No, not really.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for guys. That's going to be it for us, guys. God, talk too much. If you like this episode, please like the episode, review the episode, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you are listening to it on. And if you could, share it with your friends. We want to grow the audience. If you'd like to interact with either one of us on Twitter, I'm getting really vociferous. If you'd like to interact with either one of us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrapForTheHokage. For Montrell, that is the number 4, not the word. I am at ThunderNut01. The show is at The Players Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And we did it, man. I told you we would get you out of here by 9, and we did it. We did it.
Technically, it's 9:03.
Shut up. We're under an hour and a half, too. That's it, guys. Bye.